Hey everyone, my name is Izzy, and some of you may know me as Dusa. My current in-game name is Dumpling, and I play with Oso. This video I'm making is going to be very different from my other AA videos. The video will mainly focus on showcasing Siege for players who have not yet been able to take part in one, and would like to know how they work. Starting off, Sieges are an instance PvP event with a limited amount of participants from the attacking faction, defending faction, and pirate faction. Attackers and defenders are each allowed up to 50 players, whereas the pirate faction is only allowed up to 30 players. So I'm going to be going over a previously posted video of mine of actual Siege gameplay and footage to show you how Sieges work. So let's jump on over to the video. I'll probably be skipping through the video and pausing to kind of like mark certain things I want to show you. So right off the rip, you see the attackers have equipment that they can use to break down castle structures such as walls like these, so that we can get into the castle with our players and do damage to the lodestone. So for the phase 1 of the siege, the whole objective of phase 1 is to take down the defender's lodestone and destroy it from 100% to 0 so that we can progress on to phase 2. So the equipment that we're given, it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but I will try to mark them down as best I can for you. So the first one, which is a big one, is the trebuchet. The trebuchet does a massive amount of damage, but it is very slow to get into place. So as you're moving your trebuchet into place, the defenders will also have equipment of their own, such as gliders, these cannons over here on the walls that they can use to damage your equipment or your trebuchet to prevent you from, doing damage. There are also player clads, which are tanks, siege tanks, that you also can use to do siege damage to structures. On top of the trebuchet and the siege tanks, there are also flamethrowers that players hold on their backs. They are located somewhere in this circle that I just drew right here. It's probably going to be very hard to see, but they can use those flamethrowers to also deal damage to structures such as walls and lodestones. Other than the trebuchet, the player clad, and the flamethrowers, there's no way to damage structures otherwise. So moving on, we're going to play the video a little bit, probably skip through. As of right now, all we're doing is just breaking down the walls so that we can gain entry to the castle. So we're going to skip forward a little bit to the point where the wall goes down and we start getting ready to breach. Okay. So far, there's not much going on. You can see how the defenders are all lined up over here, and the attackers, let's just use blue for the attackers. The attackers are all over here, right? So the defenders in red are trying to prevent us from getting into the castle to attack their lodestone, which I'm going to mark with green. So this is the lodestone right here, this area, and the thing flying, the sword flying in the sky, that's the lodestone. The attacker's objective, which is the people circled in blue, is to get in the castle with either trebuchets, clads, or flamethrowers to do damage to the lodestone and bring it down to 0% so that we can move on to phase 2. And the defender's job is to stop that. So let's play the video a little bit more so we can show you what happens. So everyone's getting ready. Everyone's preparing for a push. The attackers are preparing for a push, which they're going to be going right about now. So all of the attackers funnel in, and we engage the reds. We get a really good wipe on the reds, or the defenders, and then we push straight into their castle, right into the middle, so that we can start damaging their lodestone. Now, One thing to notice inside the castle is the defenders also have their own equipment. So they have these cannons on the wall. They don't do a lot of damage to players. So more often than not, you're not going to be using these to shoot players, but you will use them as defenders to shoot down the attacking faction's ironclads or tanks that they're bringing into the castle to try to damage Lodestone. And you'll also notice that these tanks, these are defending faction tanks. So defending faction also has their own equipment to use to help defend their castle. And then as you can see here, this that I just marked is the respawn point for the defenders. So as an attacker, it is much harder to win an attack because the respawn point is so close for the defenders, whereas the respawn point for the attackers is all the way in the back, way far over there, as the arrow indicates. It's really, really far. So in order to actually successfully win an attack on phase 1, you need to, as an attacker, push in, hold this area so that your people can damage this lodestone right here, right? And try not to get wiped by the enemies that are constantly respawning from over here, right? So they can just rush into you over and over again as zombies. So we're gonna play a little bit, skip a little bit forward, and see what happens. So this is our first engage. We take a fight with the Reds. We're doing pretty good here. We're killing a lot of them. But as you can see, they keep running back from the respawn, right? And we slowly start to trickle down in numbers. Another big thing about Siege is heroes. So this is where hero voting and who you choose to be your heroes is very important. Heroes play a big role in Siege. They have very, very strong abilities, such as buffing like attack and defense buffs for your raid that give, like, I think a very large chunk of damage and defense, as well as like active abilities such as a raid-wide freeze that freezes every enemy, including equipment, for like 3-4 seconds. And the commander himself, like the siege commander, will have a one-shot ability that is a massive AoE that constantly deals like a ton of damage, as well as a anti-crowd control ability that they can apply to their entire raid, so that their raid can't get stunned, impaled, snared, like any debuffs they are fully immune to. So what happens here, I believe the enemy commander ends up using their anti-CC, as well as with like their constant respawner players, they end up winning this fight, and they manage to push us out, right? So we're starting to lose the fight. I decided to disengage and regroup with the rest of my raid. So now they successfully defended. We were able to do 6% damage to Lodestone while we were inside for that a little bit amount of time. But now we have to regroup and try again. So let's fast forward a little bit while we regroup. Okay, so we're all starting to regroup here. So this is the one mistake that the enemies made. Like, this is a huge mistake that the enemies made for this specific siege. As you can see, we're getting ready to push in, but we have players such as Agent Echo, Pumpkin Pie, Rough Waves, in this little area right here, messing with their siege equipment, right? And you'll notice when I play this video what the enemy commander chooses to do. He takes his entire raid and moves it away. He brings his entire raid away from this area that they can use to hold us at the choke, and he moves them all the way over here to deal with our 3 people messing with their siege equipment. So basically, these 3 people have effectively crowd controlled 50 people and allowed us to walk in for free, as you can see really soon here. So now we've established presence again inside their main room where the lodestone is, and we're doing damage now to the lodestone. So throughout this entire siege for phase 1, our goal is to stay in this lodestone room as long as possible and stay alive so that we can keep damage on. So you're gonna see a lot of fights happening. Because the defenders are going to try to push us out of this room, right? So we need to stay alive as long as possible while they have the respawn advantage, and we don't. So we take this one fight. We do pretty well. We kill a lot of people, but they're stabilizing a little. We end up clearing a lot of them again with another big push. So we're able to wipe them and keep them on like a staggered rebirth, so to say. So instead of them fully grouping and pushing together, they like just trickle in one by one, and just slowly like die over and over again. So they have like small waves of like 10 people that run in and die, which give us like an advantage. So they give up their respawn advantage because they just keep running in and dying. So they waste a lot of time, and we're just like doing damage to the lodestone while they're getting beat up in front of their respawn. Right. So this is gonna happen for quite a bit until the lodestone starts to go down. We stay in the castle for quite a bit. You'll see here, like we're just in the middle of the lodestone room pretty much the entire time. They're stuck inside their respawn. They can't really get a good push out. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit more towards the end of phase 1. Okay. We're fighting. Trying to stay alive as long as possible. The lodestone's at 5%, right? They managed to wipe us once again for a full reset, and they have 5% HP left on their lodestone. So let's fast forward. Now they're trying to hold their lodestone. Oh, oops. Let's fast forward a little bit more. We end up pushing back in, and then finishing the last bit of HP for the lodestone. God. Okay. All right. The lodestone is destroyed. We're entering into phase 2 of the siege. So phase 2 of the siege, the objective here, let's pause. The objective here is to channel orbs that spawn all around the castle, right? So if you look at the mini-map, I'm gonna mark it in teal again. All within this circle, this blue circle here, there are different sized orbs, small, medium, and large orbs that both the attackers, we, the attackers, as well as the pirate faction, are able to channel. So when the attacking faction, which is us, whenever we channel an orb, it will be a purified orb. And whenever the pirate faction channels an orb, they will destroy an orb, which is shown here. And depending on the size of the orb, it'll contribute a certain amount of percentage towards this progress. And whichever faction reaches 100% first is the winning faction. The defenders have to prevent both factions, both the pirates and the attackers, from reaching 100%, and prevent them from doing so until the time runs out. Right? So we have 21 minutes left on phase 2. So let's continue. Okay, so remember what I said about the orbs? So this is one of the orbs right here. And there's going to be a lot more orbs all around the castle, right? So our goal here is to have our heroes, right? So this is, once again, why heroes are very important. Heroes are the only ones that can channel orbs. So when you're voting for heroes that like don't PvP or don't show up to like any PvP events, you are making it a lot harder for your faction to own castles, either to win the siege, either defending or attacking, right? So this is one of the orbs. There's a lot more of them all around the castle area, and our goal as the attackers is to channel as many as we can to get to 100% before the time runs out. Okay, so let's continue playing the video so you can see. For this siege specifically, there wasn't a pirate faction, so we don't have to really compete with the pirates to channel orbs. We just need to channel them before the time runs out. So as you can see right here, I'm gonna pause it for you again. Zanzisha, which is one of the West heroes, he's channeling this orb right here, right? And once this orb is fully channeled, you'll see progress made on this bar right here. Each orb gives, so a small orb gives around 17% progress. I think a medium gives 20 and the big orb gives 23. So, you know, you're gonna have to like strategically figure out which orbs you want to channel. And the whole time while we're channeling the orbs, we'll also have to protect the guy channeling and win this fight over here, the 50v50, to prevent them from killing the person channeling the orb. So as you see there, we managed to channel one of them, and we gained 17% progress on this orb. We also have heroes split off while this entire engagement is going on to channel orbs on their own to speed up the process. So we win this fight, we end up channeling the orb, we get 17% progress, right? Now the whole raid moves, we're going to look for another orb to channel. As you can see, there's like a lot of orbs all around. We make it to our second orb, and we begin channeling again, right? We take another fight here. They're trying to stop us, we're still channeling. We end up winning the fight again, and we end up channeling the orb that's down here. So let's move forward a little bit more towards the end of the siege. We've already made progress up to 69%. We've channeled enough orbs to get to 69%, and we have 2 orbs remaining that are currently being channeled. So Timo, which is another West faction hero right here, he is channeling this orb that we're fighting over. And you will see, you'll see Mira channeling the orb to the left, right here where my mouse is. So these will be the 2 orbs that we need, and once they're fully channeled, we will have successfully taken the castle away from the East faction, who is currently defending. Right, so it's 86%, the channel is almost done. And boom, right, victory. Nuya Alliance has successfully claimed a territory. And I guess that's it. I mean, there's probably a lot more things, like very intricate things, such as like strategy, as well as like, I guess certain things that didn't go over in the video, but this is the basic gist of Siege and how it works, like how to progress through phase 1 and what the objective is, and also the objective for phase 2. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll do my best to answer them. But yeah, this is a pretty different video. I try to do more, I guess, guide videos in the future. But thank you for watching. Take care.